Hello, I'm Jim Bellacera. Welcome to Within the Millionaire Mind. The lesson we're going to talk about today is positive and negative influences in your life. So, who we spend our time with will impact our thought process, affect how we think, feel, and how we respond to circumstances. Negative thoughts and the conversations we have within ourselves can lead to anxiety or fear, which can lead to paralysis, which eventually can lead to depression. So surround yourself with people who are on the same mission as you. If you want to be a tiger, surround yourself with tigers. If you want to be a lion, surround yourself with lions. Our beliefs are a magnet that we create to the reality that we want. Let me explain what I mean by that. You see, if you think about things that you want to have happen in your life all the time, when you speak those words, they become a magnet to people that think like you. You know, there was a DVD that came out called The Secret, and they talked about speaking things into existence. Well, speaking things into existence helps to attract the people that you want. Now, don't confuse activity with accomplishment in terms of you got to speak it, but you also have to put action behind your thought process and what you say. Now, when you're replacing those negative thoughts that are caused by distorted thinking, those thoughts eventually lead to empowering thoughts, encouraging thoughts, and comforting thoughts. You know the saying about the glass is half empty or half full. The optimist is talking about a half full glass, where the negative person is thinking about a half empty glass. In this illustration right here, you see the fish who's negative is struggling to breathe and live, while the other fish is turned upside down and has got his mouth in the water, right, so that he can breathe and so forth. My point is that an optimist will do what it takes to come up with a solution. So as a result, it allows us to believe that we're worthy of success. When you get to that point where you allow yourself to be worthy of success and you say, I am good enough, you'll take control of your life and you'll have a positive impact on others that come into your life. Once you've broken down the barriers, you'll be in control of your life, and you'll be on the road to living a life of prosperity and fulfillment. It's time to replace those negative thoughts with positive thoughts. So I'm going to talk about negative affirmations, and then I'm going to talk about a positive affirmation to counteract the negative. I'm not worthy of success. Look at my past. Positive affirmation would be, I've been created for a purpose, and I'm worthy of success. You see, you have to deserve, you're absolutely worth everything that you imagine for yourself. A negative affirmation would be, I am afraid to fail again. A positive affirmation would be, I'm no longer fearful of failing because I will succeed. Michael Jordan said, I've failed over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeeded. You see, that was his positive affirmation. A negative affirmation would be, I'm worried about what others may think of me. A positive affirmation would be, my self-esteem rises me above what others think of me. What matters is how I feel about myself. So when you look in the mirror, you might be a cat, but you see a lion. You see what I'm saying? A negative affirmation would be, I can never do anything right. You ever said those words? A positive affirmation would be, everything I do turns to gold, and I can do anything I set my mind to. A negative affirmation would be, I'm always falling short of my goals because I never finish what I start. And a positive affirmation would be, if I don't finish my goals, I reset them and start where I left off and don't give up until I've reached my goal. So just reset your goals. You know, it sounds easy, but you know, where we complicate things is when we say those negative affirmations, we believe them. That's the problem. And you have to quit believing them and believe the positive affirmations that come behind them. So negative affirmation would be things always go wrong for me. A positive would be success follows me wherever I go. And I love the statement that came from Steve Jobs, the founder of Macintosh, Apple. Make it happen. You know the slogan, just do it, that Nike has? Just make it happen. That's a positive affirmation. Negative affirmation would be, I'm so weak, I need to follow others. I'm afraid to be a leader. Who would follow me anyway? And a positive affirmation would be, I'm such a positive influence on others that they want to follow my lead. Now I think in one of my other talks I shared that I had learned to speak positively out loud all the time. So when I'd be driving down the road, I'd be saying things outwardly. I'd say things, I'm a winner, I'm great, I'm amazing. People are attracted to me. People want to do business with me. When people get to know me, there's nobody else that they would rather do business with. I attract people like flies. I mean, the more I would speak those words, the more I believed those words. And I said it so often when I was driving down the road in my car that one time I was so lost in what I was saying out loud that I got to the stoplight and I looked over to my right and there was somebody looking at me and he could see that I was yelling at the top of my lungs, but he didn't hear what I said. I was saying positive affirmations. And that's what you need to do. You need to say positive affirmations continually, all the time. So another negative affirmation would be, what if I try and it doesn't work? I mean, how many times have you heard somebody say, what if it doesn't work? Oh my God, are you kidding me? What if it does? I mean, really. So the positive affirmation to what if it doesn't work is, I'll do whatever it takes until I make it work. I mean, could you imagine being that guy that's hanging underneath that cliff? He doesn't have a choice. He has to make it work. The problem is that we don't put ourselves in a position where we have to make it work. I mean, one of the ways that puts you in a position where you have to make things work is when you speak things outwardly to other people about what you're doing. And that means you have to perform. Failing is not an option. So if you can make yourself or put yourself in a position where failing is not an option, that means you have to do whatever it takes at every given moment until you get it done. Even if it takes longer, it doesn't really matter. I mean, I've been building a company called Successful Thinkers on my own for years, right? Everybody I talk to, I say nothing but great things and positive things about it. It just hasn't happened the way I want it to happen as of yet. And the reason is the money, you know, I need more money so I can pay for employees to do other things. It is what it is. I don't want to put negative out there when I'm talking about it. It is the most amazing company on this planet. I know that for a fact. I've seen the results of it over the last several years. So I know what I'm doing. I know where it's going. And when it hits, it'll become the definite place for people to do business, both online and offline. Why? Because I never gave up. I'm going to tell the rest of the story later when people hear about our company around the world. A negative affirmation would be, I can't focus on anything for long periods of time. Positive affirmation to that one would be, one of my best attributes is my ability to focus and stay on task. Now imagine this cowboy who's wrangling that bull. I mean, he doesn't have a whole lot of options. He's got to stay on task. He's got to stay focused. He has to do whatever it takes, or that bull's going to trample him and potentially kill him. Now, we don't tell you to put yourself in a position where if you don't perform, you could die. But if you internalize that concept of, hey, if I don't perform, if I don't do what I have to do, it could be the most detrimental thing that ever happened in my life. So I need to perform. It's not like it's going to kill you if you don't, but it's going to make something of you if you do. So a negative affirmation would be, I'm always getting sick. And a positive affirmation would be, I am a healthy person with lots of energy. I eat healthy and I exercise to maintain my energy and long-term health. As you can see, the lady's got the little weights and she's got the food on the other side. It's a mindset. It's a decision every single day. Everything's a decision every day. So we have a choice. We can feel sick and helpless and unhealthy, or we can make ourselves feel healthy. How cool is that? It's a decision away. So positive comments to live our lives by. Thinking positive, right? So little things like, that just don't matter. Or, it's not worth getting upset over, this too shall pass. Or, I'm taking this too seriously. It's not that bad. It's no big deal. So why bother to get all bent out of shape? You know what's interesting about these comments that I just made? These positive comments? We make a mountain out of a molehill, don't we? You've heard that phrase before. And yet, when it's all said and done and dust settles, it's like, it really wasn't that big of a deal. You know, and people who get all steamed up and upset and, you know, they break out in hives, and all because they were in the moment of being upset. And yet at the same time, this too shall pass. You know, nothing is that bad. It's just learning how to control it and offset it with something positive. So I know I can do this. These are positive comments you want to live your life by. I know I can do this. I attract what I want. I believe in everyone, but I don't count on anyone. I'll let my actions speak for me by setting a good example. I want you to take the time and I want you to list out any of the failures you've had in your life, okay? And then I want you to talk about how did these failures affect you. I want you to write it down. And after you've done that, I want you to write down, when looking back in time, what would you have done differently? Because, it's always easy to look back in time and reflect on what happened and what you could have done differently. Now, I want you to answer these questions. What did you learn from the mistakes you made that you wrote down? I want you to list some of the successes you have achieved because you need to see success in your life. And then it's time you focus on the good in your life and let go of the past failures or the disappointments, except to use them in identifying the things you don't want to repeat. Identifying the types of influences in your life. Okay, unfortunately, some of the negative in your life will come from the people around you, right? It could be family, friends, people you love. So you need to learn to limit your time with those people. Avoid talking about subjects that are negative, and the people that are negative about those subjects like to give their opinion. Avoid those conversations and avoid being around them. Being around them could be exhausting and counterproductive. So obviously, you want to make sure that you take each thing that I shared with you very seriously and avoid being around people that can be exhausting and counterproductive in your life. You can choose to surround yourself with positive, supportive people that encourage you to reach your goals, motivate you to be a better human being. Surround yourself with these people will help you to reach your full potential. There's a saying, it's hard to soar with eagles when you're surrounded by turkeys. I'll never forget, years ago, I had this on my desk, and a gentleman who was very active in my life, who was helping me, encouraging me, and was basically working side by side with me. He had walked into my office. I was in a very dark place in my life financially, and he saw, when he walked into my office, all he saw was positive comments, sayings, images, everywhere in my office. So when I walked into that room, it was a positive environment for me. It wasn't about being clean. It wasn't about, just having everything in its perfect spot. It was about me being able to see something no matter where I looked when I was on the telephone, talking to people. I could see something positive that helped me as I would have my conversations with the people I was talking to about business. So it's up to you. Now, I want you to think about this. What types of influence do you have in your life that could be holding you back? So here's some examples. Anger, guilt left over from the past mistakes, bad news that's on TV or in the newspaper or on the internet, negative, unsupportive people in your life, friends that don't want you to succeed beyond them. I mean, there's a ton of people out there that don't want you to become successful because if you do, you may most likely move on with your life. You may move into a different neighborhood or move into a different city or move into a better house or whatever. People don't like seeing somebody else grow beyond them. Coworkers who might be jealous of you. Parents who continue to put you down. The list is endless of what you could write down. So I want you to write down what are the types of influences that you have in your life that could be holding you back. Now I want you to list people and activities and habits you need to separate yourself from to free yourself of the negative influences. Now, you know what they are, so write them down. Now, this image where you see the negative battery and the positive battery, I want you to think about this. You're sitting down, having a cup of coffee with somebody that's really dear to you in your life, or just, a good friend of yours, and every time you talk about something positive, they talk about something negative. How does that make you feel when you go out to lunch or you go out to a cup of coffee or they're at your house and you're sitting down and you're talking, and when you talk about something exciting, they talk about something down, something negative, something that brings you emotionally down. If you could put earplugs in your ears when they're around you, that'd be the first thing I would do. But the best thing to do is make sure that you get away from those folks as fast as you can. So what influences in your life are helping you to believe more in yourself? So some examples of what you can do to be proactive would be to learn to control your anger, let go of the baggage of yesterday, join a professional or a business support group that will encourage you to be all that you can be. I wrote Successful Thinkers, of course, because it's probably one of the best professional groups I know. You can read positive books, self-help books, along with autobiographies of inspirational people. Listen to motivational CDs, iTunes downloads, and videos of success-oriented people. Heck, YouTube's got plenty of free stuff you can listen to and watch. Some examples of what you can do to be proactive would be read the business section of the digital news, associate with people who are moving on and are success-driven, join the groups. I've mentioned Successful Thinkers, but you can join church groups, other networking groups, life groups, etc. That'll support you and lift you up. So what can you do to get new direction, inspiration to re-engineer your future, right? So you need to start writing those things down that could help you get a new direction, give you some inspiration to redesign your future. And now's the time for change. Not tomorrow, now. So break the bad habits of yesterday and move on. List the things you can do and the people or groups you can associate with to help you stay focused and keep positive. And this is something that you have to do and only you can do. But do the research. Well, I want to thank you for taking the time to go through this with me. I believe that this journey is going to help you change your life, affect your future, both professionally and personally. Thank you so much.